Welcome to the show. This is your host, June Archer, the Winner Circle here. Motivate you. This is 50.com. Today, my special guest is someone I've known for quite a long time, someone I respect and love, musician, philanthropist, activist. And I just want to read you a little bit about who this gentleman is. Daniel Laurent, also known as DL, as a musician, actor, community advocate, and thought leader. He is a lead member of 10,000 Fearless Peacemakers, an initiative in which concerned men of the community go out each week and engage with residents to promote colony of peace. In addition, they are all certified in CPR, all of them, conflict meditation, and self defense. He is also a lead member of Brothers Building, a Black men's group that focuses on holistic wellness and allows a safe space for sharing vulnerabilities and strategy. The music component to this young man is Black Dollar, and we're going to be talking about that on this episode. Black Dollar just released their debut video, Soul Intact, featuring Grammy nominated Cyrus the Shield, and he is already making an impact across the country. The video highlights businesses, services, and important figures in the Black community, especially New England, Massachusetts specific is also as well. The idea is to have a medicine in the candy approach to delivering the messages. So, if you will, please welcome my good friend and brother, Daniel Laurent, aka DL. DL, what's going on, brother?
What's up, bro?
I'm so
How
happy
are
to
you,
have
man?
you, and this has been a long time coming. We
Word.
have been brothers in music for quite some time. When we had the blessing of meeting each other at the New England Music Seminar in Hartford, Connecticut, at the Bushnell Theater, where
Yeah.
you actually won the showcase, turned the place out, and you were known
Yeah.
in Boston. But I could tell you this: after that evening, you were known across the East Coast, specifically the New England area in its totality. What have you
Word.
been up to, man? How have you been through this pandemic with you and your?
Um, thankfully everybody's healthy. First off, thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And anything with you, um, you're intentional about just positivity. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that you might not click on World Star. I don't know. I didn't ask you. However, you are mindful that every single time you put forth something, you're smiling, you're looking clean, you're looking healthy, you're putting some positivity into the ecosystem, and that's important. And that's an inspiration, even for me who I'm navigating my way on social media because social media is just cluttered with, you know, you know what it is. So anyway, I just want to thank you for that. As far as during the pandemic, thankfully everyone's been healthy. Um, I immediately went into service. A friend of mine, she had an initiative where we was feeding because the school shut down, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And so we know, especially where we come from, that kids sometimes that's the only meal they get. You know what I'm saying? So it was this initiative that I was involved in. I was helping deliver food personally. I was helping with the routes and distributing them to the drivers, even helping with some of the food prep. And I think the total number it ended up being like 50,000 meals that was given out during those couple of months. You know what I'm saying? Um, and this is immediate. This is like right when shutdown happened, like it was service. And it wasn't planned, but it was just something that I felt called to do. It wasn't so much about me, you know what I'm saying? But it was like, other people in dire need. I'm fortunate enough that, you know, I have a little nest egg. I'm fortunate enough where my wife was still working remote. You know what I'm saying? I was still working remote. And so people were suffering, and so for me, I'm always mindful of others, man, and it's just like I'm a giver, you know what I'm saying? And I know you're a giver also, right? But with that being said, you got to be mindful of if you're a giver, surrounding yourself with other givers, because then it just becomes fruitful and it's productive. But when you're surrounding yourself with takers who are constantly, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Like it's draining, it impedes on your spirit. Um, so, I'm surrounding myself with givers, and so it keeps me filled. People are like, damn, when you sleep, when you rest, or why are you always doing something? It's like, yo, I get fulfillment from doing that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so, that's a long-winded way of saying I was constantly busy, constantly doing something. Um, and during that time, I really started leaning into the power of us. And what I mean by that is, just looking at things and looking at like, damn, like we could do so much better. And I'm not trying to go and have a cape on and I'm trying to, stop the selling of drugs or stop the use of drugs or, stop violence or stop people from joining gangs. Like those are other people's fights. All important, but those are all other people's fights. Mine is the power of us and knowing in our the power that we hold in that dollar, in that one single dollar, and so businesses, black dollar, which leads into that, it was more a passion of mine, um that I wanted to utilize music and videos and visuals for. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna do a new album, I'm gonna call it Black Dollar, Black Lives Matter, yo. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't want to jump on a bandwagon. I didn't want to contribute to the noise. Because the reality is a lot of people that have those Black Lives Matter on their lawns can care less about me and my people. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
When I seen Amazon had the big banner, I never, and no disrespect, whatever, but like Amazon having Black Lives Matter across their screen, that does nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? What implementations are you doing? Otherwise, it's just lip service. So, that led into Black Dollar, which, my partner and I, Rockland, um, we recorded 8 records, very intentional. We didn't record 50 songs and we wanted to choose the best ones. We went in very like boom, 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 boom. And I feel so proud of it. Um, and we both wanted to be very mindful of the release of it, how it's released, the quality, associations, packaging, all that in a real way. You know what I'm saying? Um, because I have more experience in the music space than Rockland does. So I kind of default was like the lead, you know what I'm saying? But it was important for me, and I love Joe Budden, but I hated how that all played out, with his podcast. So I was mindful to not do that, where I'm the guy and Rockland's tagging along. You know what I'm saying? I wanted him to be an equitable partner where we're moving together. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
Um, and he had a meeting. He was trying to figure out if he can jump on or not, but I told him I'll hold it down for both of us. No need of him like, you know, because you need that dollar to get to the black dollar.
right, right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying?
So,
So
so,
shout
so,
out to him.
so, Black Dollar. For those who aren't familiar with watching the video, hearing the songs just yet, what is the message that you want to take away? Because I believe it to be very inspiring. I've seen the video, the visuals, the imagery, the message. For those who are not familiar with it, the inspiration behind it, more importantly, but what do you want them to walk away with after hearing the term Black Dollar, watching the video, and hearing the song?
Um, there's a four. I think it's four. If not, forgive me. As an artist, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we freestyle. I think it's four, right? Let me backtrack. Let me make it very clear so people are not like, damn, let me be confused. So Black Dollar in itself is gonna be a 7 pillar approach to different things that will aid in the resolve of the amount of time that the dollar circulates in the black community. For those who don't know, the statistics, even as of last year, the dollar circulates in the black community upwards to 6 hours, as opposed to other communities where it's 26 days, 17 days, 12 days, whatever. Ours is 6 hours, right? We all know how much, we've all heard statistics about how much buying power we have in the black community and this, that, and the third. Separate issue. For me, it's a matter of circulating that dollar and making that touch different families, right? And so the approach is, and what the video is highlighting different businesses, different services, and different pillars, not to have an overused word, but different pillars in the community of where I live. You know what I'm saying? Boston, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. Um, it wasn't like a global effort, but for us, these people are important. So the Julia Mejia, who's actually, up for re-election today, make sure for people that's in Boston, make sure you go vote. You know what I'm saying? Today is election day. She was the first Latina to be elected into the council, and she lost originally, and they did a recount, and she literally won by one vote. So
Mm.
that is powerful. That shows the power of us. Now, maybe it was a white person that voted for her. Maybe the white person was that one. Maybe not. Right. So that one, that matters. Conan Harris, you know what I'm saying, who has transformed his life from all his things that he's done, and now is an advocate and an ally to the rebuilding of the community and offering strategic marketing services. And his wife, Ayanna Presley, the Honorable Ayanna Presley. You know what I'm saying? Um, so it's different people that were intentionally placed in the video, not placed, but intentionally incorporated into the video. To answer in like one sentence, the point of Black Dollar, from my lens, is one, being intentional about incorporating a Black business into your life and spending habits, right? So I always use, and it's very overused, if you buy a cup of coffee 5 days a week and you go to Starbucks, maybe one day go to a Black cafe. So I'm going to speak for Boston, right? So we got Dudley Cafe, we got Ripple Cafe, right? Black owned. Go there and incorporate that. I'm not telling people to go out and buy Black 365 days. I feel like that's not a tangible thing, and it's actually very stressful and very difficult. But incorporating it, so if you want food, don't automatically think, oh, I got to go to a Chinese restaurant. Is there a soul food restaurant? Is there a Caribbean restaurant? You know what I'm saying? Is there a American, like a fusion? Think about it. That's one. Two, from a consumer standpoint, if we go to these said places, or it's a Black plumber and you overlook them because he's Black, if you actually utilize that service and it's not up to par for whatever reason, let's use food. Say the food takes a little longer to come out. It's not okay for us to go on Facebook or go on Yelp. Oh, and mother, blah, blah, blah. Oh, man, you'll never come. That's not okay. We can't do that. We can't afford that, right? I'm
Mm.
not telling anyone to accept mediocrity, because I'm not. However, there's a way in which we can deliver the message to improve and better ourselves. So something happened with me with a restaurant where the chicken wasn't thoroughly cooked. Quietly went over to the manager. She was mortified. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna make it over, and I'll give it to you for free." And I said, "No, no, no. I'm insisting on paying, because that's my contribution. That's important. I don't
Right.
want a free meal. I could have used it, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want a free meal." That's two, right? So the services that we're doing, and the products that we're buying, and then also being graceful in the things that we are buying if it's not up to our code or our standards, right? Three, as business owners, we have to show up and demand excellence of ourselves. So if you have a gym, June, and the gym's supposed to open at 7, you should probably be there at 6:30, right? Make sure the lights are on, blah, 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 wipe everything down, open up at 6:59. So when I come in and I'm ready to go, because I got to be at work at 8:30 and I have my day planned, it's flowing, right? It's not okay for you to show up at 7:16. And then when I'm there waiting for you, you look at me as if I'm inconveniencing you. That's
Right.
not okay. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So that's the third thing, as far as like just really competing. And on, and this is across the country, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, if we want food, we know where we can go to get food, because they're open all the time, because they're
Right.
getting that Black dollar whether we're going to get it or not.
Correct.
But why do we have to be closed? Right? Like, why? I don't get that. I'm not in the food business. That's not my mission. I'm not interested. However, I'm just saying, like, really, you know what I'm saying? The fourth thing, and I want to make sure the fourth thing is making sure that the this is part of the business. The businesses that get the community support and gets the black dollar keeps it cyclical and puts that back in. So June, as a black business owner, if I'm supporting you and giving you my money, whether it's $50, $500, $5,000, it's not okay for you to go and buy Prada stuff and take trips to Dubai and buy Lamborghinis and buy like you could do that, but you should take a chunk of that and put it right back. You know
Back
what I'm
into the
saying?
community. I
So,
agree.
because otherwise it doesn't work. And so I think the conversation has always been that I've heard, at least that I've interpreted, maybe I'm wrong. It's always been buy black, buy black, buy black. Okay. Now for the people we're buying black, how's that work? You know what I'm saying? Because that
Right.
doesn't make me feel good if I feel like I'm contributing to the greater good and you're breaking a cycle for your own selfish reasons. So that's the four tiers of black dollar and soul intact intentionally. That's what we're trying to get across. You know what I'm saying? And just by you mentioning black dollar in this interview, just by people possibly going to look at the video, for me, I feel like that's a win because that may be more that they've actually said black dollar out of their mouths in a long time. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with that. I'm good if people are just like black dollar because it's not about me. You know what I'm saying? It's a bigger thing.
And for those who are listening or watching, please, you can go right to thisis50.com. The video is up there. Please support it, like it, share it. The video is dope. I love it, not just because of you, DL, but because of the message and because of everything that you represent and supporting all those people in the community by incorporating them in the video. My
Yeah.
longtime friend and mentor, Michael Bivens, uh,
Word.
New Edition, Belle Biv DeVoe, uh, Biv 10 Records, Sporty Rich, all of the endeavors that he has
Yeah.
from Boston.
Yeah.
Does a
Roxbury.
lot of work in Boston, goes back and spends a lot of time in Boston. You are doing the work as well. And there are so many others. Free, that was on 106 in Park, also doing
Yeah.
the work. For you, what other things are needed for our young people in Roxbury, in Mattapan, those who are not getting the resources or not getting the programs or enrichment programs? What can we do to make their lives better or more enriching?
Um, it's a multifaceted approach. And I think, you know, I'm always mindful. I feel like we all have privileges, right? To some extent. So us on this call, take the black out of it, but us as men, we have a certain privilege, right? There's certain things that we can just kind of do without any care in the world, and it just is what it is. And a woman is not allotted that same right. For example, or right, I don't want to say right. For example, if we go to a bar, I wouldn't do this anyway, but if we go to a bar and you leave your drink and you go say what's up to Michael Bivens because you ain't seen him in a while, you can leave your drink there and do that without fear of somebody slipping you a Mickey, right? Obviously that happens,
Mhm.
but for us on a whole, or jogging late at night in a park, we don't have to necessarily worry about being pulled in the bushes and you know what I mean? So I say all that to say there's certain things that I feel like I am mindful of. Like I grew up with both of my parents until my father passed. And people would always be like, damn, you got both of your parents? I'm like, yeah, so what? As I'm older, I realize that that's kind of a luxury, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying?
A luxury,
So
a luxury, because
yeah,
everyone
which
in these impoverished areas or these places that people like to call the hood or the ghetto, some of them come from broken homes, but
yeah,
there are so many gems that come from those situations. So
and
having both parents is really a luxury, but it doesn't. You have people who've had both parents in the homes, and they have found themselves in situations that they can't get
sure.
out.
And
So
what I really believe is that it's up to your inner person, and like there is an inner thing first. And then I feel like your relationship with God or your higher being like taps into that. But I've seen it. I've seen a child come from. I've seen two kids come from the same set of parents, and both of them couldn't be polar. So I say all that to say, um, mentorship is important. Even though I had both of my parents, my father was, and they both were in the street, so I grew up in it. I made a choice to not. Now my mother and father would have definitely punched me in the face and kicked me all sideways if I really try to dive into it, right? Which
Right.
again is needed, right? But it was also the community that saw something in me and wouldn't allow me to do certain things. Like, ah, man, go to school, little, you know what I mean? Little ninja, you know what I mean? I'll clean that up. Clearly we're not calling each other ninjas, you know what I'm saying? But it was people that believed in me. So for me, that's important. And I try to make sure I do that. Um, and just also telling your story. We all have a story. We all have adversity. We all have things that we've overcome or we're working through. So whether you're struggling to stay sober, whether you're struggling to save for a house and you'll be the first one in your family, whether you're struggling to save money to go to college and you'll be the first one in your family, whether you're struggling to make ends meet and you're being super intentional about not doing it the fast way and being on a corner because that's all that you've been shown. We all have a story. And so I feel like kids relate to that. Kids don't necessarily relate to, well, I graduated from Yale. And when I read my thesis and basically, June, I know exactly where you come from, June. I mean, I understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? But when it's like, yo, come here, bro, let me talk to you for a second. It's like, oh, I see myself in him. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like black men and black women in particular need to be mindful in working together. One in a household, that's a whole separate issue, right? And in marriage, there's definitely challenges that come with that, right?
Right. 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 It
But
is. It is work. It is work.
in constant work. But nothing worth having. Like whatever that saying is. I don't want to mangle it and sound crazy. Um, but something that Conan said, and shout out to him. He said during the pandemic, because after George Floyd was murdered, um, like that was the lowest point of my life, and I cried and I was crying for days, and like my kids see me and I would just be looking at the sky and like I just felt so hopeless. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never felt that hopeless in my entire life, and I've gone through some things, but I feel like that to me was like damn, yo. And so, and there were a lot of people who I love and have relationships with who were white, you know what I'm saying, was like if they didn't have my number, they contacted somebody else and called me like, oh my God, I'm so like I think for the first time, the things that we talk about and it's normal, people seen it like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? And so when that happened, I knew that I had to do something to get out of that or somebody would die in a
Mm-hmm.
real way. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like
Okay.
I could have done something to somebody, or I could have put myself in a situation where someone could have done something for me. And I feel like I have a purpose and I've come too far to just kind of let it go out the window like that. You know what I'm saying? So when that happened, I rechanneled things and just tried to figure out how to have vulnerable conversations. And that's what Brothers Building comes in because it's us men, you know, when are you ever really in a space where you're around two or three other black men and you're telling a story and you cry? You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do that in a bar in a club. Like man up, little. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
in
You
a
may not even do
private
it in the
room,
barbershop. You may not do it in the barbershop as well.
word. You know what I'm saying? And I jumped around. My point of bringing all that up, Conan said, this is during the time of George Floyd. It's not the herd Olympics, right? Because me and my wife even got into it where I was just so sad. She didn't know how to comfort me and what I needed. And we got into it. And I felt like she didn't understand what I was feeling as a black man. I was looking at myself on screen be murdered. She has a husband who's black. She has a son who is a black young man. So she felt her own way. But I was like, you don't know what it feels like. You don't know what it feels like. And so Kona said it's not the hurt Olympics. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We are hurting as a black family. And
Right.
so, that put things into perspective for me and allowed me to move a little bit differently. And when I'm saying like black, 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 black dollar, whatever, I feel like we are usually placed in a situation where we have to be apologetic for being pro us in ways where like others don't. Anywhere you go, there's a little Italy, there's a Chinatown, right? Like it is what it is. A close friend of mine only goes to the local Irish market. Period. She doesn't advertise it. She's not making t-shirts and videos like me. She just does it. So my goal is for us to be so intentional about the messaging of it, where my son or my son's son, where it's just normal, like, oh, June's putting out that water, and there's Poland. Oh, I don't want the Poland Spring. June, where you selling your bottled water at? You know what I'm saying? That's my goal. That's what I'm trying to like get people to get to. And in the community, we all are working in silos, and I'm intentional about that. So I've been talking to Free, and there's some stuff we're talking about. Biv, I haven't like connected with him yet, but that's an inevitable thing. And so we all don't have to have the same approach and the same route that we're taking. But if the end goal is from a genuine place and it's for the betterment of us and saving these kids who don't necessarily have opportunities and feel hopeless, you know what I'm saying? That's all that I'm for. You might speak differently than me. Me and Cardi B certainly don't speak the same. I love English. I got A's in English. You know what I'm saying? I take that very seriously. However, I respect the space that she's in. I respect the grind that she came from. You have to respect that. May not be your cup of tea with music, but you have to respect someone getting it out the mud in a real way.
Yeah.
So, we're all valuable, yo. All hands on deck. Um, and for me, man, if you're not with us, you're against us. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm front line and just like that. So
For you, man, you're an artist. I met
mhm,
you as an artist. You continue to amaze me as a writer, producer, and performer. I always like to round out the interview with music is a soundtrack to our lives. As
mhm.
you know, for you, DL, what song best represents your journey up to this point, or which artist embodies your journey up to this point?
um, so it's more. I don't have to just pick just one, do I?
I just want
That's
one from me. I just want one. I
just
want
one.
someone to walk
Yikes!
away with that one. If you had to choose.
Please, and I'll send you a cash app. Can I give you two? So okay, I'll say this: Royce the 5'9", right?
Right.
He is unbelievable lyricist. I love how he has infused his awakening of self and for his people into his music in a seamless, effortless way where it doesn't seem preachy. I love that. I love listening. I love how he's doing things, how he's not standing for things, how he is taking stands and positions. Like that's inspiring. I know I don't write like Royce. That's not the lane that I'm gonna be in. But he is absolutely an inspiration to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to sit and talk to him for like 30 minutes even. And that's gonna happen because I'm manifesting. Um, and then, uh Nipsey Hussle, man. And when he was murdered, things changed for me. And so I took that sadness and the being heartbroken and wanted to channel it. And so it wasn't a matter of his music. The music was dope too and powerful, but it's, having that block that he used to do illegal things and now providing opportunities and having a space for technology for young kids and all the things he's talking about that I'm like, yo, I agree with that. I now have to do that my own way. The marathon continues. You know what I'm saying? So those two people are very, very, very influential in my story. You know what I'm saying? And giving people flowers is super important. Um, so I'm never too cool to like, never gonna be arrogant. Like, well, did it myself, man. I don't listen to my own music. And artists that you only listen to my own music. All right, bro. You sound just like. So coincidentally, you just happen to sound just like.
Those
You
same
know what I
five
mean?
MCs that you
Yeah.
look like.
So but those are the two people, man. And and it's my son. I love what he's doing. Tamika Mallory. Um, he's not an MC, but Charlemagne with the Black Effect Network and just the mental health. And I go to therapy. Like I love all of it. I love all of it. Again, all hands on deck, yo. That's it.
So for you, you've been through some things, roadblocks, obstacles.
Hmm.
What is the best? I want you to speak to those who are listening, watching today, who are going through something. Was there a piece of advice that you were given? Was there a gem that you could share with someone today that you lean on, even in present day, when you find yourself in those situations where you're like, man, I got to know today, or man, here goes another obstacle. Man, here's another door that got closed. Speak directly to those who are listening and watching, and just give us a piece of advice that you've been given that can help someone today.
I think, simply put, man, you are worthy. You know, I think that we all have a story. We all have a purpose in this life, and it's a matter of finding yours and trying to be of service. And the thing that I genuinely live by, and I heard this at a funeral years ago, and I was inspired by it. But when you die, what do you want on your tombstone? And so, how do you want to be remembered? And if you think about that, those things might fall into place. Do you want to be looked at as, whatever it is, a wheeler and dealer and always mooching off of people, or always asking for money, or whatever, right? How do you want to be remembered? And so I certainly want to be remembered as the person that always was willing to help. You know what I'm saying? That's important to me. Like, I believe in being of service. So, I think that, think about that. How do you want to be remembered? And if you can answer that question clearly, certain things will fall into place. I believe, you know, um, and don't be afraid to just sit down and have a moment to yourself. So turn your phone off, turn the TV off, and just like breathe. And whether you meditate, whether you're sending positive light, whether you're praying to whatever God that you are praying to, but just have a moment to reflect and take maybe 5 deep breaths, and the power of that, you'll see. It's a real thing.
I love it. I've been playing this game called University of Dope, and it's only right that you're an MC, you love
Uh-huh.
hip hop, so we're gonna play this game. And unpopular opinions are welcome. There are
Yikes.
no right or wrong answer. We love all of the artists that are in this game.
Jeez Louise. If
So
Royce is in it, please take him out.
here we go,
Oh,
DL.
yikes.
So first one, most influential rap song of all time. Is it A, The Message, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five? Is it B, Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang? C, Planet Rock, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force? Or D, Sucker MCs?
The message.
All right.
The
If you
message.
if you had to erase one from hip hop history, who would it be? A, Curtis Blow, B, EPMD, C, Kumo D, or D, Slick Rick?
Jeez Louise. Um, Yikes. Um, 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 Hypothetically, um, damn. EPMD, hypothetically.
All right.
Oh,
If someone wanted to experience hip hop for the first time, what album would you give them? A Low End Theory, a Tribe Called Quest. B, Enter the Wu Tang, 36 Chambers, the Wu Tang Clan. C, Straight Outta Compton, NWA. Or D, Paid in Full, Eric B. and Rakim.
um, jeez. Wu Tang, man. Wu Tang.
All right. All right.
Yep.
All right. You're stranded
Shout
on
out
a
to the
deserted
Hulu series,
island.
by the way. Yep.
Which album would you listen to? Stranded on a deserted island. A. Black on Both Sides, Most Def. B. The Miseducation of Lauren Hill. C. 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul. Or D. The Chronic, Dr. Dre.
Miseducation.
All right. If these four MCs were on the same track today, who would come out on top? A. LL Cool J. B. Rakim. C. KRS-One. Or D. Big Daddy Kane.
Who's the first one?
LL Cool J.
Cool J. Rakim, Karis one. Um, I think Big Daddy Kane now, and I know that's a little sticky nowadays with the.
Versus. All right. Best hip hop soundtrack. Is it A. Get Rich or Die Trying? B. Above the Rim. C. 8 Mile. Or D. Juice.
I genuinely believe it, but I also want to be mindful of the platform. So I'm gonna say Get Rich or Die Trying. Hey. It is an amazing record though. Unbelievable. Hands down.
Stay woke. Best politically conscious song. Is it A. Fight the Power, Public Enemy? B. F the Police, NWA? C.
Ugh,
Hip Hop, Dead Prez? Or D. Umi Says, Most Def and Yai Bay?
ugh. Um, damn. You got to pick one. Um, I think A is more well rounded for everything. Yeah, I say A. Fight the Power.
Erase one person from hip hop history. Who would it be? A. Swiss Beats. B. Dr. Dre. C. Pharrell. Or D. Timbaland?
Damn, that's not nice. um, from hip hop history. I don't. Damn, man, I don't know. I have to pick.
You could pass, but there's two more, and you only get one pass.
Uh, I've been doing good so far. I'll pass. I can't. I mean, jeez Louise, that's not even a nice card to put out. Yikes.
$75,000 or tickets to the Rock Nation brunch?
Um, I'm gonna say the ticket to the Rock Nation brunch
All right.
because relationships are important.
All right.
Networking's important.
One gotta go, DL. Who is it? A. J. Cole. B. Drake. C. Kendrick Lamar. Or D. Childish Gambino?
Um, I say and it's not an easy one, but I say Childish. Out of that group, Childish gotta go.
Okay. I'm hit you again. One gotta go. Who is it? Black Thought, Most Def, Common, or Talib Kweli?
Um, um, damn, that's funny. So Rock loves Most Def. I can't say him because we would fight. Let's say let's say Common.
All right. All right. Erase one from hip hop history. Who would it be, DL? Is it A. Nas, B. The Notorious B.I.G., C. Tupac, or D. Jay Z?
That's not fair. You're pulling out extra cards. um, yikes, yikes, yikes. Unpopular opinion, huh?
Unpopular opinions are welcome.
This is gonna get me disinvited from things. Um, I from hip hop history. Um, uh, hmm, Big. I say take Big out. Damn, yo.
There it is,
Edit that.
DL.
Edit that out. Like, come on, man. Like,
The game is called University of Dope. Unpopular
oh,
opinions are welcome. It is all fun. We love all of these artists, their music, and their contribution. DL,
word,
man, thank you so much for joining the show today. Please
word, man.
support what he's doing with Black Dollar Soul Intact. The video is out. You can watch it on thisis50.com.
Word.
You can follow him. Uh, His
If,
information, Daniel Laurent, is Black Dollar 7 US.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like him, follow him, love him. Where else can we follow you? And where can else can we
Um,
hear the music?
so Daniel Laurent SME is my personal page. Daniel Laurent spelled on the screen, and then S is in Sam, M is in Mary, E is in Edward. Um, make sure you go to the YouTube. If you Google, because all the videos are on there in different little clips or whatever. My website, danielorent.com. I had my website since back in the MySpace days. Everybody had a MySpace. I had my own website because I saw something happening, and as it turns out, no one's
You're
saying
right.
MySpace / June Archer. You know what I'm saying? So, just I'm out, man. If you Google Daniel Laurent, you'll see a lot of stuff. Also do acting. I just did an indie, 2 weeks ago, eerily similar to the thing that happened with Alec Baldwin, but fortunately that didn't happen on the set. But now I'm gonna be real mindful about doing stuff like that. But I'm just, it's the power of us, man. That's what it is. And whether you like, love, or dislike or loathe me in this interview, right? If you hate my face, thank you so much. But Black Dollar is what I want everyone to be mindful of and practice. So, that's important. Because what June got on from the head, I don't know what's on his toes, but I see it. So we gotta believe in us and support us, man, and that's all we got. Shout out to Damon John for us by us. Like that's a real living, breathing sentiment.
DL, I appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. God bless you, your family,
Love
your
you, man.
community. If we can help out, I'm always here. Looking forward to some new music. But
Word,
until then, we're gonna rock with this Black Dollar, soul intact. Tell your partner I said what's up. Tell the
word,
family I
man.
said what's up. And ladies and gentlemen, please support him, like him, love him. Like he said, it's about circulating the dollars in our communities that we continue to help each other grow, develop, that our products and services become just as powerful as the ones we've been supporting all this time. So it's not
Word,
about just black and white because we just want to support the Black Dollar, but we want to make sure that our communities get all of what they deserve and what they need because it's important now more than ever. And the mental health space and mental fitness during these times is so important. When you get an opportunity, tell somebody that you love them. It might be the last time you have the opportunity to do so. DL, I love you,
word.
man. Thank you for tuning in. God
Love
bless
you
y'all.
too, bro.
This is your
Word,
host, June Archer, for the Winner Circle. This is 50.com and Motivate You. Peace.